So I was just having a chat with my one of the best friends in last decade. He was my colleague at a radio station back in 2014, and we had a lot of fun time together on that radio station in Islamabad. Creating so much fun station IDs, making jingles, doing voiceovers for the clients, and presenting many of the radio shows on that radio station. I don't want to name now, but yeah, it's still a very famous radio station in the country, I must say. And but I'll say one thing here is one of the pioneer English radio stations in Pakistan is, so you might have the chance to know. So he was just exploring a few things, and we recall our time when we were at the radio station, or radio jockeys or radio presenter, whatsoever you call it. So that was really a fun time. That was really an interesting time, and we explored a lot about the radio. And because radio is not just about the old school radio where you have to just sit and listen to the news and state updates, or what should you call old music tracks, classical hits. But the radio in current era is more than that. It's a sort of informational, I would say, if I'm not wrong. So it's an information plus entertainment plus plus updates plus so and so on. So current era's radio is pretty much it, and people are enjoying in the countries where they are actually using their radio stations as a full-fledged communicational medium for the state news, for private sectors, because we have experienced the government state-owned radio stations and private radio stations across the globe, and we know that how it works, the guys who are involved with the radio. But recently, last couple of years, I was in Bahrain, so I experienced their 94.6. I think the radio Bahrain is phenomenal. They are pretty good because they know how to do the programming, because I was involved in the programming for a couple of years with the radio when I was attached with the radio. Even I worked with a couple of radios in that time. So how to do the programming, what time is pretty much at the good time for what kind of your users. So I experienced that pretty much it in Bahrain in those couple of years when I was there. And being a presenter, being a radio presenter, or being a radio jockey or disc jockey, DJ or VJ, we use many terms. We used to use those terms in early era of frequency modulation. We call FM. Before that it was an AM. So we use DJ, we use VJ, we use then it we got the real term, got to know about that the radio jockey is the real term, that RJ. So people used to write RJ with their names. So it was also I must say a star kind of moment in that time. So we had a lot of time enjoying that work with the radios. And I enjoyed personally working with the radios as a communicator, as a communication artist, as a producer, as a creative, as a what I would say as a production head, where we used to create station IDs, voiceovers for the clients, making audio jingles for our commercial side, our business side, because on radio you don't have any sort of television screen, so you have to be very precise with your audios, with your voiceover styles, with your music selections, with your sound effects. And the placement is also very important when you are playing those what you say radio ads, audio ads, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, if still the radio people are using that name. So the whole the crux of the communication was not just talking about so many things, but it was enjoying the moment at the radio jockey, that how much you have to involve in the things if you are, if you're working behind the scenes, or if you're working front of the screen, which is the front of the mic. So I remember one thing. One of our teachers in the early days, when we used to go to the radio stations and for you know for trainings and purposes. So as an internee, I would say in current times. So my teacher, who was I don't know he's alive or not, but he used to say, just think you are in communication with your girlfriend or your wife or somebody you love, you love. So he used to say that, you have to communicate over the mic just like that, because this is how you communicate with your audience. If you are loud, if you are rationally, harsh, people will not, they don't want to hear you whatsoever you are. You have to design a one sort of communicational aura, if if I'm using the right word for the Gen Zs. So you have to create your own sort of voice. You have to make your own style. You have to adopt a very specific communicational style. What sort of music you will play, what sort of radio show you will host, and how the language barrier, how you overcome the language barrier. If I'm not wrong with that term, because you are communicating with your target audience, with your, with those people who love to hear your voice, who love to hear your communication, who love to communicate with you, who love to, hear to your favorite songs, because they might be interesting in your playlist. So there are so many things being just a radio jockey, being on a radio station, and present yourself as a presenter of the society, as a face of the society, as a well-wisher of the society, as a commuter of the society, and so on. So you can play so many roles being just a radio jockey. So being an RJ is not just about playing music and just one thing, and also playing with your music faders. It's so much more than that.